Okay, Year 10. Here is your first lesson on pacifism and peacemaking, done remotely via a video, and I hope this works for everybody. So, your starter is to look at those keywords on the left, write them all down, and then study the definitions on the right. They're not in the correct order, so you need to put them in the correct order next to the appropriate keyword. Obviously, there are 5 definitions, so one of them will not be used. Hopefully, you'll be able to work out quickly which one that is and ignore it, and then match them up, and they'll be on the next slide. So pause the video before you move on and find the answers. Definitions. So peace, an absence of conflict which leads to happiness and harmony. Okay, so simply no war happening. Pacifism. The ism on the end tells you that that is a belief that war and violence are always wrong and a refusal to take part in them. Obviously, a pacifist is someone who believes in pacifism, so it's a person. And then Quakers are a well-known Christian denomination, also known as the Society of Friends, who believe that war is wrong. They've got pacifism written into their statement of belief. Okay, hopefully you got all those right. Well done. Now let's move to objectives for the rest of what we're going to do. Everyone must be able to give 2 reasons why a religious believer might be a pacifist. Okay, so why might someone who is religious, follows Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, whatever, might choose pacifism as well. Most students should be able to interpret religious teachings about pacifism, so say what something means from a holy book and how it relates to pacifism. And some students could take a lead in debating the concept of pacifism. Okay, well, we will transfer the debate possibilities into some online form. We'll see how that happens. For you to do a little bit of thinking. So, question, why do people become pacifists? Pause the video and please do a mind map in your book or on some paper of all the kinds of reasons why people might become pacifists, might protest about war, might say that they don't want to join a battle or a war, right? What kind of reasons would people have to take that stance? Try and come up with as many as you can. Off you go. One reason that many people become pacifists is that war causes suffering, bitterness, hatred, prejudice, and greed. War brings so many bad negative things out in how humans relate to one another, and that they would say that the suffering, the difficulties are out of proportion to the evil being fought. So you might be fighting somebody who's really, really bad, but nevertheless it's still going to cause a lot of these negative emotions, negative feelings, and it's not going to make anything better in the long run. Another reason for becoming a pacifist might be because you believe in the sanctity of life, the belief that all human life is precious. That is a phrase that you really need to get down with its meaning, the sanctity of life, and learn it really well. It's going to come up again when we study abortion and euthanasia in Year 11. So pacifists believe that every person deserves respect simply for being human. There is no person who deserves to die, and that their life is precious just because they have been given human life. Okay, another reason for becoming a pacifist may be that your sacred writings, your holy books, specifically teach you not to kill. So, obviously, in the 10 Commandments in the Bible, you have a do not kill, Exodus 20 verse 13, which goes for Christians and Jews. And in the Quran, you've got verses like chapter 5 verse 32, if anyone kills a person, it would be as if he killed all mankind, and if anyone saves a life, it would be as if he saved the life of all mankind. So verses like that clearly teach not to kill. And you might have written down, war damages the environment and wastes precious resources that could be used to solve global poverty and other world problems. If you are a religious person, you might believe in stewardship, which means you have to look after the earth on behalf of God. And going to war clearly will destroy and damage the earth, both with weapons and with armies riding all over the countryside, and it's very difficult to look after the earth and take good care of the environment when you go to war. Another reason for being a pacifist may be that you think it's pointless to go to war, because inevitably you will have to, the two sides at war will have to sit down and talk to one another and negotiate anyway. So all the killing, all the loss of life doesn't actually achieve very much. The final reason I've got here, although there may well be others, and you might have written down something else, is that using violence to achieve freedom or other positive goals, even if you're aiming for something good, if you use violence, that actually makes you as bad as your enemy. And for many pacifists, they don't want to go down to that level. They want to stay on a level of treating people well. Okay, now it's time for you to do a bit of independent work on the worksheet that's attached to the homework task. So download that, please, and open it up. Hopefully it'll open up okay for you in Word or something similar. And for each of those teachings from holy books, they relate to pacifism in some way. You need to write an interpretation for each one in your own words. Okay, so for example, the first one that says, I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also, which we've studied before. Okay, how does it apply to the topic of pacifism? Well, if Jesus is teaching people to not hit back, not retaliate, then that clearly links into the pacifist stance of not using violence. Okay, so do that for each one, please. The second thing you need to do with the worksheet is look at the third column, the other useful info section, and basically read through that carefully, looking at different details from different religions, and highlight 3 bullet points from different religions that you think are useful points of information, useful little extra bits of evidence that you could put into an exam question about pacifism if you got one. Okay, thank you. Right, I'd like you to watch a video now if you can, please. So there's a link on the homework notes to this trailer for the film called Hacksaw Ridge. So have a watch of that, please. And then when you come back, I want you to do a little bit of writing. So think about what it would be like to be that main character played by Andrew Garfield in the film, who wants to serve his country, but he doesn't want to kill anybody. Then also think about what it would be like to be his comrades in the army unit. They're going through their training, they're trained to kill the enemy, they're trained to keep each other safe. And when they get to the battlefield, is he actually going to help keep them safe, or is he going to be a liability? Is he going to be a problem? Is his pacifism, do you think he'd be able to stick to it? Could he actually save lives, or should he have stayed at home? I'd like to write a paragraph based on those questions, please, just telling us what you think. Okay. Final task to complete here. You've got a statement there that says pacifism is a cowardly response to war. Do you agree with that? Do you think that if you're a pacifist, you're actually just a coward and you should stand up and fight? Or do you think it's actually quite strong and it's difficult to be a pacifist? Say whether you agree or disagree with evidence from the lesson, back it up with something. Then in your second paragraph, explain why someone might disagree with you. Why might someone take the opposite view, or what evidence they might use? Okay, 2 paragraphs in your book, please.